Okay, sorry for the delay. Let's get started. How's everyone going? Let's have a look of LAB7. LAB7 is pretty easy, I think. Before we get started, let's have a look of the document. In LAB7, just familiar with the cellular network, then you will be fine. This lab should be pretty easy. So what we need to do is, let's see, to draw cellular frequency reuse patterns and measure the map cellular signal strength. Maybe we need to have a look of the lecture at week 8 here. Just go through these lectures notes. I'd say the important concepts is in this page 13. You need to know this equation. What is this? What is N and what is I and J? And maybe have a look of this example here, locating co-channel cells, and see which one is I and which one is J, and how they draw this picture. So basically, we move because the I equal to 3 and the J equal to 2. So we move right for 3 steps because I equal to 3, and we turn 60 degrees counterclock and move J cells into here. So that's how we draw this how we draw these maps. If you can understand this example, so then you can do the task 1. So the basic idea for task 1 is figure out the n value at first, and then calculate the I and j based on this equation, and draw the maps. Okay. Do you have any question related to this? Maybe I can do the first one to show you how I do it. So the basic idea is get the n value at first. What is that n value? Obviously, it's 9. And then we need to calculate what is I and j. Maybe we can use a script to here. Let's define a function. Sorry, my font is pretty small. Define a function that we can put an n value into it. So for I in range, let's say 10, and for j in range and 10, if n equals to the equation, which is this one, plus I multiplied by j, then we can print it. Let's say I equals to I, j equals to j. We can use this function to help us to solve this equation. So we put 9 here. And let's see. There are 2 results. So the first one is I equal to 0 and j equal to 3, or I equal to I is 3, j is 0. So what we need to do is just plot this graph. Okay. The next step is you can use this one. This one. Then plot the graph. Something like this. And maybe smaller. Yeah. And because I equals to 2, right? 1, 2. So I put it here. Is this make sense? Sorry, you can't see my screen. Let me see what happened. Maybe here. Can you see my screen now? I'm sorry, I didn't notice that. Let me just do it again. Let's see. Maybe we can have a look of here. Restart from here again. I'm very sorry about that. I forgot to share my whole screen. The important part of this lecture notes is page 13. We need to have a look of this equation. Okay. And then we can have a look of this example here. How can we draw a map if we know what is I equals to 3 and j equals 2? So if I equals to 3, just move for 3 steps, and then turn 60 degree counterclock, and move j cells to here. So that's how we draw this plot. And after this, then we can start to do the labs. Let me back to this page. Here, let me do the first one because we need to figure out what is the n number, which is 9, right? And then after we get this number, then we can use a program to help us to figure out what is the I and j values. You're not required to copy this program, but you can just solve by yourself. It's pretty easy. So I use this program to help me to calculate the number. So I can know the I value is 0 or 3. Then we can start to plot this graph. So I recommend you just maybe just remember to save your images in halfway in case you made any mistakes. You can like draw something like this and move forward because I equals to how much? I forgot it. Maybe 3. Oh, 1, 2, 3. So we can do and 1, 2, 3 and do it here. And you can continue to do this. So is this make sense? And for the B and C, you just do the same. Just follow the instruction. And you can, for the task, the second one, you can also use this to help you to figure out what is the I and j values. It's 2 and 2. Okay. And for the task C, you should do it by yourself. Do you have any question related to this? Yes, no. So let's go to the second one. The second task is collect the RSRP with your mobile phone by running the command such as this one. Do you want me to show you? Do that. So here. So just run the command in document. It's this one. And then click the button of call. Then you can see all the metrics are here. And you find the value we want, which is this one, RSRP0, RSRP1. And that's it. All you need to do is draw a basic map of your home and then collect the RSRP value in 3 different spots with 2 different heights. So which means you need to have 6 different value, maybe the same value, but in 6 position. And then output the map and the table of, sorry, I didn't finish it. a map and a table of the value of them. Yeah, and that's it. And I think that's all you need to do. It's here, a basic map of the home, 2 different heights. One is the floor and one is elevated position. Maybe you can put it on the table or something. Yeah, and that's all. If you can plot the temperature plot to present your data, but it's not necessary. And that's for our task in the LAB7. And let's have a look of the demonstration of how to capture more packets, because some students may have some trouble on their data collection part for their project. Since they can capture on like maybe 5 or even less than 5 packets per second. So let's talk about how to increase the packets that we can capture each second. So the basic idea is if you can capture any packet with the ISS data, then you can simply increase the traffic to increase the packets, the amount of the packets. So there are 2 ways, but it's not the only 2 ways that you can do it. But we recommend you to do these 2 ways, to do these ways. And the first one is simply play an online video while capturing, but make sure you don't have any cache. So you keep downloading from the internet, and you can increase the traffic from your computer to the router. And the second one is use the ping command, capture the stuff. For the online video, I don't think I need to talk about how to play an online video, right? Just open a YouTube or something like that. But for the ping command, maybe you should do, maybe I can tell you how to do it. So first one is to run the command cmd here. The first thing is we need to figure out what is your IP and your router's IP if you have already connected to your hotspot. So we can use the command of ipconfig to figure out what is your IP address. You can clearly see that your IP address is this one, and the router's IP address is this one. So this one is your computer's IP address, and because we are going to communicate with the router, we need to ping the router. So that is the address we need to ping. And you can also find the address by simply clicking the settings here. Network, I guess. Network status, something like this. Properties. Then you can find your IP address here. And but it doesn't say what is the router's address. It's DNS server, but it's also my router. Probably you can just run this command to figure out what is your default gateway. And maybe you should also make sure you didn't connect to any other internet while you're capturing. So make sure all the internet traffic is go from your computer through the Wi-Fi to your router, to your hotspot, okay? And after we know what is the IP address, then we can use the ping command, like simply ping. The number is like, let's say 2000, and the interval, here I use 1 second. So I send 1 packet per second, and to the address of 192, 1.1, sorry. So we can see the packet is, we are sending the packet, and we can start to collect the data now. Just only select the Wi-Fi adapter here. And new capture, and press F5 to start capturing. Because we are using the Windows 10 as our operating system, the Windows 10 didn't allow us to set the interval less than 1, because it's a kind of attack if we send a lot of ping commands into an address. So if you want, you can run a PowerShell script or Python script that you can easily find on the internet, or you can even like write by yourself to write a script that can send a lot of ping commands, or just simply use the copy and run another terminal to run this command. So you can double the traffic of the ping command. You can run several ping commands if you want. And let's see how it goes. Just stop it and save it. Where is it? This one. And open it with Wireshark. You can see some of my packets have the signal strengths here. Before we do this, we also need to apply a filter, because our IP address is this one, right? So IP address source is this one. And make sure all the traffic is from our computer to our side, or outside to our computer. So ip.bst equal to our computer. Then you need to also filter all the packets have the signal strength. And you may also need to apply other filters if you want. And it depends on you. You can see there are lots of packets here. I didn't see the ICMP package here. Weird. It is filtered. Is there any ICMP package here? I didn't see that. Maybe it's because I'm doing the Zoom meeting, so there are lots of traffic every second, because we only send 1 packet per second, which is just a very small amount. You can see for every second, I got about 200 packets from my computer to the router. Maybe we can open another one that I generated yesterday. This one is also didn't see that. You can see that ICMP package here. So that is the ping command package. So from the router to our computer, we can see there is a RSS data inside the package. So that's how we increase the traffic from our router to our computer. Oh, so I can also say that you can also open a Zoom meeting by yourself. So you're uploading stuff every second. So instead of playing a video, you can also open an online meeting by yourself. So you can just figure out how to increase the traffic between your devices. That's it. So if you still cannot capture any like RSS with your laptop, just tell us if you are not able to like collect any RSS data to finish your project. Just let us know as soon as possible. You can post it on the forum or send an email to us and tell us what is your situation. So basically, if you cannot capture, like you cannot run the monitor mode, or if you cannot capture any packets, so that is basically your, I'd say your laptop or computer's problem. Then you may need to switch to another computer to do it. But if you can't, just let us know and maybe we can figure out a solution for you. And that's all for the ping command. Do you have any question related to that? If we don't have any question, maybe have a look of here. Some student may have some trouble have no idea how to design your project, right? Like, I don't know what kind of gesture I need to design. Then maybe you can just try some random gesture and collect the data and see what happened. Or you can design a method to distinguish the gesture. For example, you can distinguish the gesture based on the time series, right? For some gesture, maybe you can see very distinguished pattern on the ISS based on the time series. And you should try a lot of different methods to do this. And also you can find some idea based on the paper and research. I think our lecturer Mahab have already give you some idea and which paper and which research should we look at. And the third one is you can also search on the GitHub. Is there any tools that can help you to do this? And the fourth part is you can try the machine learning, but which is not very necessary. So if you do the machine learning, maybe it can help you to improve your accuracy. So you will get a higher mark. But if you didn't use the machine learning, you will not lose any marks for that. So don't worry about that. We only concern is your accuracy and your idea and your presentation. That's all. So the machine learning is a pretty good way to improve your accuracy if you know how to do it. But if you don't and you want to do the machine learning part, it's also okay because we have a lot of library that you can use pretty easy. That maybe you only need to spend like 5 hours to study about how to use the machine learning library on Python. then you can use it. It's pretty easy. Let's have a look of some library here. If you want, you can use this one. The scikit-learn is, I think it's the very simple one. You can do a classification here, which is a supervised learning. Maybe you can try this one. Here's NN and the KNN. And maybe the decision tree is also a good one. Maybe it's not really good, but it's very simple to use. You can have a look of it here. You can see there are some codes here. What you need to do is just follow this code, use the fit command to train your model, and then you can just directly use the predict to help you to get a result. So that's all. You can see there are less than 10 lines to do the machine learning. Pretty simple, isn't it? And that is the concept of it. You can do it without even know the concepts. That's all. If you can do other kind of machine learning, such as PyTorch, TensorFlow, you can also do that. All we care is your results. So do you have any question related to the lab or to the project? Please let me know. So if you do not have any question, you can feel free to leave. We'll see you next week. Okay, is it required to perform sampling or any advanced pre-processing? Yes, if you can do the sampling, that will be excellent. I think if you can do the sampling, which will increase your accuracy and performance significantly. But it is not required. So all we care is your performance, okay? And what is the appropriate size of the data set? For the size, I think you need to prove by yourself, which means you need to prove you have enough data by like I'd say maybe draw a curve. For example, I use, give me a sec. You can draw this kind of curve, uh, something like this. This is loss, which means maybe you can consider it as a wrong accuracy. You can see if the data set increase, I have less, maybe have high accuracy here. You need to draw this kind of curve to show you have enough data. When you have enough data, the curve will not drop down, and maybe you will stay in the like level, in the same level. Here, you can see this. Can you see this? So you can see I use like 1,000 sample here and 7,000 sample here, and I will have less loss here, which means I will have higher accuracy here. But if my pattern is like this, I may consider if I add more data, I can get more accuracy. I will have better performance with adding the training data set. So you need to show this kind of graph to prove it. You have enough data. So for the Mac, are we supposed to use sniffers to capturing the package? Yes. So if you are using a Mac OS X or the Linux, then you can use the Wireshark to capture the data. What does the 7K means in the graph? 7K different sample. So in here, I'm training the images. So this one is I'm trying to train a model that can recognize these images. You can see here is one images, two images, three images. So here are 7,000 different images are passed into this model. So maybe in your curve, you can say maybe how much gestures for the same gesture, maybe you can add more gesture. Because in here, we can see each images are separated. But for our gesture, our trace file, if you put a lot of gesture in the single file, then you should consider a way to maybe separate them, or maybe not. It depends on your method. Because I say the machine learning is not necessary. If you use another method, then you maybe are not required to separate the gesture from a single file. So you are not required to capture like 7,000 different files. So don't stress yourself. And all you need to do is just design a method and try it. Just don't worry too much about if you don't know how to do this part or that part. Just try one. I think the most important thing is tell us how you improve your model or your method. Like you can have a very poor model or method at first, and then you can tell us how you improve your method by like adding more data sets or improve your algorithm or apply any tools or pre-processing stuff. Just tell us how you improve it and show your effort. Then you can get a very high mark. So the first thing is just maybe design a very basic method and improve it. And let us know if you have any trouble on that. You can simply post it on the forum or come to the labs. So if you have any trouble on the data collection, just let us know as soon as possible, including you cannot capture any packets. Maybe we can send you a Raspberry Pi if you are in Sydney. Or we can borrow you a computer if you want. Thanks. See you next week.